You that the woman who became America's most beloved talk show host once wore potato sacks as dresses because her family had nothing else? What if I told you that behind all the fame and billions of dollars, there's a story of pain so deep that it would break most people? Today, we are going to talk about Oprah Winfrey at 71 years old, and the real story behind the crown. Most people see Oprah and think of success, money, and fame. They see the woman who had the most popular talk show in history. They see someone who built a media empire and became one of the richest people in America. But what they don't see are the scars that never healed, the losses that cut so deep they changed her forever, and the battles she's still fighting today. Oprah's story doesn't start with money or fame. It starts in a tiny town in Mississippi in 1954, where a little girl was born to parents who were just teenagers themselves. Her mother worked as a maid, cleaning other people's houses for very little money. Her father cut hair and worked in coal mines. They never got married, and soon after Oprah was born, they went their separate ways. Can you imagine being a baby and already feeling unwanted? That's how Oprah's life began. She was passed around like nobody really knew what to do with her. First, she went to live with her grandmother on a farm where they were so poor that young Oprah had to wear dresses made from potato sacks because they couldn't afford real clothes. Think about that for a moment. This woman who would one day wear designer gowns to fancy events once had to wear potato sacks because her family was so poor. Kids at school would make fun of her, but even as a little girl, Oprah had something special inside her. Her grandmother taught her how to read when she was just 3 years old, and by that age, she was already standing up in church reading from the Bible. But life got harder, not easier. When Oprah was 6, she was sent to live with her mother in Milwaukee. You might think this would be better, but it wasn't. Her mother worked all the time and left Oprah with other people who didn't really care about her. During this time, something terrible happened that no child should ever go through. Men who were supposed to protect her hurt her instead. She was abused by people she trusted, and this left scars on her heart that would never completely heal. The worst part came when Oprah was just 14 years old. She became pregnant and had a baby boy, but the baby died shortly after being born. Can you imagine losing a child when you're still just a child yourself? This broke something inside Oprah that would never be completely fixed. Even today, at 71, she carries the pain of that loss. After this tragedy, her mother couldn't handle her anymore and sent Oprah to live with her father in Nashville. This might have saved her life. Her father was strict and demanding. He made her study hard, gave her rules to follow, and didn't let her get away with anything. At the time, Oprah thought he was too harsh, but later she realized he was giving her the structure she needed to survive. While she was still in high school, Oprah started working at a radio station. She was hungry most of the time and wore clothes that other people gave her because she couldn't afford new ones. She would take the bus to save money and sometimes walked home in the rain when she couldn't afford the fare. But every time she sat in front of that microphone, she felt like she was meant to be there. When she was 19, she became the first black woman to anchor the news at a TV station in Nashville. This was a big deal, but it was also scary. She was breaking barriers, but she was also facing discrimination. Some people didn't think a young black woman belonged on television. They said she was too emotional, too raw, too different from what people expected, but Oprah kept going. In 1978, she got a job hosting a talk show in Baltimore. This is where she discovered her real gift. She didn't just ask questions like other talk show hosts. She connected with people. When her guests cried, she cried with them. When they laughed, she laughed too. People watching at home felt like she really understood them. Then in 1984, she got the chance that would change everything. A failing talk show in Chicago needed a new host, and they offered the job to Oprah. Many people thought she would fail because she was so different from other hosts. But within months, she had turned the worst-rated show in the city into the #1 show. She was competing against famous hosts who had been on TV for years, and she was winning. In 1986, the show became the Oprah Winfrey Show and went national. For the next 25 years, it was the most watched daytime talk show in America. Millions of people watched every single day. It wasn't just entertainment for them. It was like therapy, like having a conversation with a friend who really cared about their problems, but being on top came with a price that most people never saw. Every single day, Oprah had to be perfect. Every word she said was analyzed. Every emotion she showed was judged. She was carrying not just her own pain, but the pain of everyone who came on her show and everyone who watched from home. People would write her letters about their problems, and she felt responsible for helping all of them. The pressure was enormous. Critics said she was too emotional and that she exploited people's pain for ratings. Magazines constantly wrote mean articles about her weight, her appearance, and her personal life. They took unflattering pictures and put them on magazine covers to make fun of her. The woman who was helping millions of people feel better about themselves was being torn apart in public. One of the biggest challenges Oprah faced was with her weight. For decades, she struggled with this in front of the whole world. Every time she gained weight, magazines would write cruel articles about it. Every time she lost weight, they would wait for her to gain it back so they could write more cruel articles. In one famous moment on her show, she pulled a wagon full of fat onto the stage to show how much weight she had lost, but instead of being seen as a victory, it became something people made fun of. This battle with her weight wasn't just about how she looked. It was tied to all the pain from her childhood, all the times she had been hurt, all the times she had felt unwanted. Food became both comfort and enemy. She would lose weight and gain it back, over and over again, while the whole world watched and judged. By 2021, the years of carrying extra weight had damaged her knees so badly that she needed surgery on both of them. For weeks, she couldn't walk without help. This was terrifying for someone who had always been so strong and independent. But typical of Oprah, she didn't give up. She worked hard to get better, walking miles every day and climbing mountains on weekends to rebuild her strength. In 2023, she made a brave decision to be honest about using weight loss medication. Many people criticized her for this, but she didn't hide it or lie about it. She explained that after decades of struggling, she needed medical help, and there was no shame in that. But Oprah's battles weren't just with her career and her health. Life kept taking people away from her, one by one, leaving deeper scars each time. In 1989, her younger brother Jeffrey died of AIDS when he was only 30 years old. Back then, people were very cruel about AIDS, and many families were ashamed when someone they loved had this disease. Oprah mourned not just her brother's death, but also how society treated people with AIDS. She felt helpless because despite all her fame and money, she couldn't save him. In 2003, her half-sister Pat died from drug addiction. Pat had been struggling with drugs for years, and Oprah watched helplessly as addiction slowly destroyed her sister's life. When Pat finally died, it wasn't really a surprise, but it was still heartbreaking. Oprah realized that love isn't always enough to save someone. Then in 2010, something amazing and sad happened at the same time. Oprah discovered she had another half-sister named Patricia who had been given up for adoption when she was born. Meeting Patricia was like finding a missing piece of her family, but it was also painful because they had missed so many years together. All those birthdays, holidays, and memories they could have shared were gone forever. In 2018, Oprah's mother died. Their relationship had always been complicated because of how Oprah's childhood had been so difficult. Even though her mother had hurt her by not protecting her when she was young, Oprah still felt the pain of losing her. There were things they never got to say to each other, forgiveness that never came, love that was never fully expressed. The hardest loss came in 2022 when her father Vernon died. He was the man who had saved her life by being strict and making her study when she was a teenager. He had been her anchor, the person who gave her structure when everything else was chaos. Losing him felt like losing the foundation that had held her together for so many years. Through all of this pain and loss, there was one person who stayed by Oprah's side. In 1986, she met Stedman Graham, and they have been together ever since. That's almost 40 years of being together through everything. In 1992, they got engaged, but Oprah shocked everyone by deciding not to get married. She felt that marriage might change their relationship in ways that could hurt it, so they chose to stay together without being married. Many people didn't understand this decision, but it worked for them. Stedman gave Oprah the space she needed to build her empire while always being there to support her. He didn't try to compete with her fame or control her success. He just loved her for who she was. Oprah also made the difficult decision not to have children. After losing her baby when she was 14, the idea of being a mother was complicated for her. She has said honestly that she didn't think she would have been a good mother because she didn't have the patience for it. Instead of having a few children of her own, she became like a mother to millions of people through her show and her charity work. Today, at 71, Oprah lives quietly in California on beautiful farms and estates that she has bought over the years. She has horses and gardens, and she can finally enjoy the peace that was stolen from her childhood. But even with all her success and wealth, she carries the sadness of all the people she has lost and all the pain she has endured. Her daily life now is very different from her TV show days. She walks for miles every day to stay healthy. She spends time with Stedman and her close friends. She reads books and runs her book club that still influences what millions of people read. She continues to give money to help young people get educations and to support causes that matter to her, but in the quiet moments, especially at night when the world is still, she feels the weight of being alone in ways that even Stedman's love can't completely fill. She has no children to carry on her legacy, no grandchildren to spoil, no daughter to talk to about life. The woman who became a mother figure to millions never got to experience being an actual mother in the way she might have wanted. Oprah's health is generally good now, but at 71, she faces the reality that her body is aging. The knee surgeries reminded her that she's not invincible. Every ache, every pain is a reminder that time is moving forward, and even the strongest people eventually have to slow down. Despite all the challenges and losses, Oprah hasn't retreated from life completely. She still produces movies and TV shows occasionally. She still appears on television when there's something important she wants to talk about. Her voice still carries weight when she speaks, and people still listen to her advice. She has given away hundreds of millions of dollars to help other people. She built a school in South Africa for girls from poor families. She has paid for thousands of scholarships so young people can go to college. When disasters happen, she donates money to help people rebuild their lives. Her generosity comes from understanding what it's like to have nothing and wanting to make sure other people don't have to suffer the way she did. The story of Oprah Winfrey at 71 is not a tragedy in the traditional sense. She has achieved things that most people only dream of. She has more money than she could spend in several lifetimes. She has influenced millions of people in positive ways. She has broken barriers and opened doors for others who look like her, but it is a complex story of someone who has carried enormous pain while also creating enormous joy for others. It's the story of someone who has been incredibly strong while also being incredibly vulnerable. It's the story of someone who has given so much to the world while also sacrificing parts of herself that she can never get back. When we look at Oprah's life, we see that success doesn't erase pain. Fame doesn't heal old wounds. Money doesn't bring back the people you love. Even someone as powerful and beloved as Oprah Winfrey carries scars from her past and faces the same human struggles that we all face: loneliness, loss, aging, and the search for meaning. Her story reminds us that behind every successful person is a human being with feelings, fears, and heartaches. It reminds us that strength often comes from surviving things that could have destroyed us. And it shows us that it's possible to turn our deepest pain into our greatest purpose. Oprah once said, "Turn your wounds into wisdom," and that's exactly what she has done with her life. Every painful experience became a lesson she could share with others. Every loss became a way to connect with people who were also grieving. Every struggle became proof that it's possible to survive and even thrive after the worst things happen. At 71, Oprah Winfrey continues to be an inspiration, not because her life has been perfect, but because it hasn't been. Her story shows us that it's possible to rise from poverty, survive abuse, overcome discrimination, and build something meaningful with your life. It shows us that success is not just about what you achieve, but about how many people you help along the way. If Oprah's story has touched you, if it has made you think about your own struggles or inspired you to keep going when things get hard, please hit that like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories about the real lives behind the famous faces. And let us know in the comments what part of Oprah's story resonated most with you. Thank you for watching, and remember, no matter what you're going through right now, your story isn't over yet.